Welcome to Dark Horizon Creations. I'm Mike, and tonight we begin a new series of videos entitled Let's Paint a Warthog. And that is exactly what we're going to do. So I know all of you have seen the video review that I did on the Wicked Cool Toys World of Halo 4-inch scale Warthog that you see before you. The video of the customized version of that is also on my YouTube channel. If you haven't seen it, you need to go back and watch that first before you watch this video. Also, if you haven't, please like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Follow me on Instagram and Facebook. So what I wanted to do something fun. I wanted to do something different, and I wanted to show all of you the techniques that I use when I'm custom painting toys. And for this Warthog, there were sections that I repainted, like the suspension, but for the most part, it was just a process of applying heavy weathering in layers. And a lot of the techniques that I use when I'm painting are based on dry brushing. I do a lot of dry brushing with my toys. And, you know, I really go light when I'm applying paint. Because, you know, it's really easy to mess something up. And, you know, the less you use, the better off you are. Particularly if you make a mistake, it's easier to go back and clean it up if you're not using that much paint. I've been doing this sort of thing since, I guess, 2010, 2011, when McFarlane came out with the Halo Reach toy line. That 6-inch scale Warthog was the first toy that I tried to repaint. And really, that's all I did, was I just weathered it, battle damage kind of deal. And I didn't attempt to paint anything else for a couple of years until I tried to paint a leader class Grimlock, and I really messed that toy up. I mean, the paint was just like gunky on it. I mean, it was tacky. It would come off easily, and I was really discouraged by that. And I didn't do any type of repaints again until 2015, when the Force Awakens toy line was released. The first toy that I repainted was the First Order Snowspeeder. You know, just very simple kind of, you know, repaint. And it began a learning process for me, because I watch a lot of people online on YouTube videos. I've seen people on different forums and different websites that I would watch. I've also seen a lot of people that have their own way of repainting toys, and you know, there's a lot of opinions out there about what works and what doesn't work. And honestly, it just comes down to trial and error. You have to decide for yourself what works for you. For instance, I almost exclusively use the Apple Barrel brand acrylic paints by Plaid. And there's a lot of folks out there in the customizing community that do not like those paints. You know, they tell everyone to stay away from them, to use Vallejo or Citadel, or, you know, whoever. And I've also seen customizers that have been doing this for 10, 15, 20 years, and they swear by Apple Barrel. That's all they use. So again, it comes down to personal preference, and it's also what you're painting. You know, and it depends on, you know, with toys, the type of plastic it is and things like that. So again, it's a trial and error process, and as I'm going through this, I'm going to explain step by step what I'm doing and why I'm doing it, so that you guys will understand that. And hopefully you'll just have fun watching the video, and, you know, maybe take something away, you know, that you can use for your own self. So what I'm going to do now is pause the video. I'm going to remove the toy from the packaging. We're going to come back and see what it's all about. Stay tuned. Okay, we're back. So let's take everything out of the box and see what we got. So to begin with, here's the Master Chief action figure, and we will be painting him last. There's his MA-40 assault rifle. Really nice action figures. I like the design of these. I like the articulation. They did a really good job on them. And here is the Warthog. And you can see they have gone to really great lengths to package these in a protective manner. They've done a very good job with the packaging, the inserts and things in the box. So the first thing we're going to do is remove this insert in the top. And then the truck just comes right out. And the first thing that is apparent when you pull this out of the tray is the quality of plastic that they use to build these. You know, the design of the toy, really solid construction. This isn't cheaply made. They did a very, very great job with these vehicles. And you can see the level of detail in the suspension, the rotors for the wheels, the fuel tank under here. There's the engine right up in here. All the forward suspension, and you can see that the tow hooks on the front for the Warthog tusk actually line up and are part of the frame. I mean, how cool is that? You know, that's something that you certainly didn't see on the McFarlane toy. And just really, really nice. Really nice attention to detail inside the cab of the truck with the displays and the gauges and things like that. The gear shift lever, the bucket seats. It's all the way around really, really fantastic toy. In this plastic bag are the fuel cans and that radio antenna. Let's see if I can get this to slide out one way or the other. I'm just going to have to tear this open. Tape down on the tray. There's your lag. And this one's really nice. I've opened one and the gum was actually bent, but this one's in good condition. I like this. So that's going to be easy to repaint when we get to it. And then, of course, last but not least, what we're going to be working on today. All four of your wheels. And you can see the wheels are plastic, hard rubber for the tires. Really great feature. I really like that. So what I'm going to do is move the actual truck back there. Cannon and the Master Chief action figure. Set those back to the side. And I'm going to angle the camera down so that you guys can see what I'm doing. And before I begin, I'm going to put on some Nitrile Gloves. I always like to wear gloves when I'm painting. I also wear them, you know, when I'm doing a lot of my toy reviews and things, because I don't want to get oils or contaminants or anything on the toy from my skin. You know, even before the pandemic broke out, you know, I just habitually wash my hands probably 40, 50 times a day. You know, it's just habit. And in so doing, you know, my skin dries out a lot, you know, and I like to wear gloves. But I wear them anyway, particularly when I'm about to do a repaint. So I want to show you guys this. This is a wash that I've already mixed together. This is water with some of this apple barrel gloss black paint. It's acrylic. And again, you know, I use this on every custom that I do. literally. You know, the only time that I've ever used anything else, I've used some of the Citadel paints for skin tones on some of my action figures. Other than that, this is all that I use. We're also going to be using this brown oxide for the tires. And these brushes are Royal Art brush, synthetic hair brushes. So when we talk about a wash, there can be various levels of how diluted it is. You can see I've got this pretty watery, and I want it that way for a reason. You always want to use one of these flathead brushes to do this with. And, you know, if you're covering a smaller area, you know, you can use a smaller brush head for it. But with a wash, you're just going to get the brush extremely wet, and you want it that way. And you're just going to take the wheel, you're just going to soak it down, just like that. It doesn't matter if it gets on the tire because it's going to be repainted anyway. And you want it nice and wet in there to get into all the crevices. That's what you want to do with the wash. And it doesn't matter how much of the wash you get in here, because once it dries and you wipe it down, you're going to go back and do another layer of it as well. You know, it takes several coatings of a wash to get it to a consistency where it begins to have that realistic weathered appearance to it. And that's what you're going for. You know, in a real world military vehicle like this, you're going to have dirt, mud, you know, splash stains, rust, and things like that. So after you apply these and let them dry, this is what it's going to look like. And I'll use this one since I've already painted the tire. But this is several coats of the wash, you know, and you let it sit, you know, for a few minutes until it's almost dry. And what I like to do is I'll take a Q-tip and wipe down the excess. You know, so like if this were dry, and you can see it'll just kind of soak it up. I'll take out the excess just like that. You know, and just kind of leave the rest and allow that to dry. And let it sit, and I'll go back and do another coating. And after 3 or 4 coats, you'll come out with something that looks like this. And all these specks around the tire are from the wash. One thing I don't do is I don't use Q-tips to apply paint, because you'll see fibers like you just saw that unravel themselves and get onto things. But you let this dry between each coating for a couple of minutes and wipe it down, and you go back and apply another coating. And that generally takes anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour to do several coats, say 2 or 3. And you just get it to the consistency that you want it to be. And you can see all of the drain holes in the wheel, around the barrel of the wheel there. Some of those aren't as dark as what I would like. So what I do after I've applied the wash is I'll use these Elmer's painter's pens, or acrylic paint. They have various tips, ultra fine, fine, medium. And I'll take these and I'll go back like right here, and I will fill that in like that until I get it completely black. And if you go back and watch my video to other Warthog, you'll see the wheels look that way. What you want to do when applying this, whether you're doing detail work on the wheels or on any toy, as long as it's wet, you can wipe it off with water, paper towel, Q-tip, whatever. Once it dries, it's not coming off. Even though it's an acrylic paint, once it dries, that's it. But these are really, really good for going back and doing small details like that. Now, for the tires, I use this brown oxide paint. And generally with the apple barrel paints, you don't have to shake them up as much. I do. And I don't always use a paint palette. I buy those small ones for 99 cents from Walmart because I use a lot of them. And sometimes I wind up throwing them away. And to paint the tires, you want to get, again, a wide flathead brush. And you just want to get paint on the brush. Now, you don't have to wipe this off. And you're going to take it, let's see, let me use this one that's already dry. You're going to take it and just wipe it onto the tread pattern like this. And you'll wipe it on the outside wall of the tire. And there's no right or wrong way to do this, because I'm going to show you why. And you'll wipe it on the inside wall of the tire like this. And you just want to get it on there. You know, you want to get it between the treads. You don't want to dump paint on it, but you want it to look naturally dirty, if I could use that term. Just like that. That's what you want to do. And you can go back and take a paper towel or a Q-tip and wipe down the excess off the surface of the tread on the outside wall of the tire and the inside. And again, just like with doing the wash, you're going to have some cleanup. And what I do is I use 70% isopropyl alcohol instead of water for cleanup of the brushes and for cleaning up stuff like this. And what you're going to do is just take your Q-tip and you want to dip it into the alcohol like this. And just kind of get the excess off. And you can go back and clean this up. And that, especially smudges like this, go back and clean that up. Wipe it down. See, it's going to come right off. Apple barrel paint will clean up real easy. And you can use water. I just prefer using alcohol because it's a lot faster to get it off. You know, in the past with certain projects, I've seen that the water is not to my liking, and it's just a personal preference. So you can clean it up like that and go back and keep applying layers. And as you do, what you're going to come up with is this. This one's dry. It's going to look like this. Inside wall, outside wall, your tread pattern. And again, you can get it as dirty as you want it. You know, it just depends on how you want the truck to look. Or you can leave the treads all black. It's up to you. But, you know, when the UNSC deploys on the different worlds and things like that, think about them driving through open areas, fields, dirt roads, and things like that, not just in an urban built-up area, you know, things of that nature. And that is a finished wheel and tire. You know, already done that one. I can see a little bit of cleanup there on the outside of the barrel of the wheel around the draining holes that I need to wipe up. But this one's done. And that's all there is to it. That's all that I do with the wheels and tires on the Warthog. Now, in our next video, what we're going to do is repaint the suspension on the truck. The shocks, the springs, the swing arms, the rotors, all of that is going to get repainted, front and back, on our next video. I'm going to show you step by step how I do that. If you guys have questions or comments, feel free to leave them below the video. Again, if you haven't, please follow and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Also on Instagram under Dark Horizon Creations. And on Facebook under Dark Horizon Creations. If you guys have questions about a custom, if there's a custom you'd like me to do, you can email me directly at darkhorizoncreations@gmail.com. Message me on Instagram or Facebook. Stay tuned. There's more to come.